4 out of 5 Canadians today live in urban areas. Before the Second World War, a little over half of the population was urbanised. Sprawling cities have gobbled up rich agricultural land, and our food now travels an average of 15 to 2,500 miles to reach our tables. With fuel and food prices at an all-time high, how will Canadians find a cheap, local and sustainable food supply? One young Ottawan believes he has the beginnings of an answer. 4 years ago, Jesse Payne started Vegetable Patch, a community-shared agriculture project, or CSA, which brings together community members to take advantage of the city's underutilised green space and gardens.
So how it works is people will share their space with us. No money is exchanged. We maintain the garden, grow the food, and they get a share of that produce as part of our CSA that where we deliver baskets throughout the city to people. In return we just get to use that space of theirs.
Vegetable Patch typically does weekly deliveries or pickups of baskets of vegetables and fruit to residents who have shared their land. In the past 4 years, the number of gardens donated to the project has increased sixfold to roughly 30,000 square feet of previously unused land. And Payne no longer has to do all the dirty work himself. He now has 2 partners and 15 regular volunteers. He started the initiative, he says, to improve food security in a country that imports 40% of its vegetables.
That is another reason why I started Vegetable Patch, is I was, sort of uncomfortable going into a grocery store and seeing all this produce like peas and carrots and that sort of thing that we could grow at any given time, especially in the good part of the season in the summer. But you're seeing peas from South Africa and carrots from Peru, and that's just not sustainable for the long-term future.
Today, Payne and his team are planting onions, garlic, broccoli in Donna Casbrick's garden. It's the second year she has offered Vegetable Patch her backyard. But what does she get out of it?
Satisfaction to see it growing. And they bring me vegetables and I take my choice of what I want and add to my grocery list. So I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing it grow. Every morning I get out of bed and I look out my window and there's a garden.
Urban agriculture projects like this have caught on, and real estate developers have even begun incorporating the idea into large architectural projects. The Centretown Citizens Ottawa Corporation has given over the roof of their new 8-storey development in downtown Ottawa almost entirely to urban agriculture, and space for rooftop gardens and planter boxes has been made on a number of their other affordable housing blocks. The cost of a loaf of bread has doubled in the last 10 years, and the price of an everyday store item has risen by 5% in only the last year. The corporation's Meg McCullum explains how rooftop agriculture addresses this problem.
Our tenants are in the low and moderate income range, and so for them having access to fresh food is challenging. The cost of food is rising, and even to begin with, we're talking about people who don't have an adequate amount of money to be able to have the luxury to afford farm fresh produce. So again, being able to provide a little bit of space where people can grow a few things to add to their daily diet. If you can get some fresh tomatoes, some herbs, some carrots, access to lettuce and chard, it just makes it that much easier for them to live healthy lives.
In addition to these gardens, the corporation also annually delivers free plants and seeds to its residents to encourage them to grow their own fresh produce. McCallum says that urban agriculture is here to stay.
So what I see happening is that these developers will be adding usable landscape spaces to their roofs. I don't think that your average condominium developer is going to start off by including garden boxes, but I think that as residents move in, their demand is going to be for the ability to grow food on their own.
But municipal policies in Ottawa haven't kept pace with this demand for a sustainable urban food supply. The Food for All programme, coordinated by the food policy group Just Food, seeks to address the policy gaps regarding food security in urban agriculture. Partnering with the University of Ottawa, Just Food will present the city with a series of policy recommendations later this year.
We need a whole range of policies in order for urban agriculture to flourish, and it's really important to stress how interconnected all of these issues are. So for example, if you want to start a community garden, you need land for that community garden. So we need policies that ensure that there's priority placed on providing access to land for community gardens. So if we're putting in a new development, can the developers plan space for a community garden so that later on when that community is ready, there's space built into the way that that community was planned. And that's a policy piece that we need to ensure that there's access to land for community gardens.
Krakowski says that at the moment Ottawa is falling behind other forward-thinking cities like Toronto. Changes are needed to address the fact that there's a 2-year waiting list to get a plot in one of Ottawa's 29 community gardens. Municipal bylaws also prohibit residential hen and beekeeping.
Urban agriculture touches on so many different issues, so people who are concerned about climate change and the impact of food miles, when they're buying things that are imported from another continent. Urban agriculture is something that they can turn to. It's a concrete and tangible thing that people can participate in that can address many of those concerns.
Meanwhile, Payne, a part-time web designer, has demonstrated how new technologies can be used to market an age-old concept. When setting up the vegetable patch business 4 years ago, his first step was to create a website. Payne got his first offer of land within just 3 hours of the site going live. And he has also embraced Twitter and Facebook to help get the word out about urban agriculture.
That's the way that it spread. I found, word of mouth and that same idea of social media is the way that this sort of thing gets supported and propped up, is by just people being passionate about this sort of idea of growing food locally and wanting to make a better planet, really.